Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. All right, can y'all hear me now? Somebody let me know if you can hear me now. I see a bunch of y'all talking about you can't hear me. Can y'all hear me now? Ah, good job, good job. So let me say again, first of all, I see my mama right there, y'all. Watch that. What's going on, mama? Yeah, that's my mama right there. And again, I want to send a shout out to Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard from Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. Most of y'all don't know nothing about being down in Alabama, but I've heard there's some nice things happening in Alabama. Andre Williams, what's going on, my brother? He said, howdy from the 757 Hampton Roads, Virginia. Jay Dizzle, what's up, my brother? Let me see. She talking about she can't hear. Oh, y'all can hear me now. Star Coleman, what's going on? Glad to see you as always. All right, Cassandra Keat, what's going on? Glad to see you. And as people pop on, I am certainly going to send y'all shouts out tonight. Why? Because I'm happy to see y'all. James Key, what's up? Glad to see you on the show tonight. Yeah, see, we about to get down and get into some things. But we're going to start off on something different. First of all, let me tell y'all. Some of y'all almost sent the police out looking for me. Y'all said I had been gone too long. And I can appreciate that. Because what that means is that y'all missed the show. Y'all are active part of the show. But let me tell y'all what happened to your boy. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Man, I messed around and caught the COVID. Yes, the COVID was strangling me. And so I'm going to say this as a matter of factual data. Anybody tell y'all that COVID is gone, they lying. Not they making up stories. They actually lying to y'all. Because COVID ain't go nowhere. All right? That's real talk. Star Coleman said, oh my, yes, oh my, you absolutely right. Look, I'm telling y'all, this is how tight COVID was. First of all, let me be clear. I didn't get COVID because I wasn't masked up. I didn't get COVID because I wasn't socially distancing. I happened to be in a building where there was nobody at, but there had been some people in the building. And me and my team was doing some things to straighten up and rearrange. And 75% of my team caught COVID at the same time without no people being around. So all that stuff that somebody telling y'all, don't let Dr. Fauci and this foolishness he talking about it's all good. It's not all good, trust me. And I know that COVID impacts people differently, right? You know, that's real talk. COVID impacts people differently. But let me tell y'all how it impacted me. First of all, I started feeling a little suspect. But you know how at some point when you've been putting in a lot of work, you start to feel like maybe I'm just exhausted. And I think this was on like a Friday. So, but I still had to go and do some work for an event that was going on. And not knowing what it was, I get up early Saturday morning, go to the event, still not feeling positive. But I said, you know what? I'm a stormtrooper. I can make it happen. Get in there about a couple hours after I'm in there. I'm like, man, I got to get up out of here. So my team, they took charge and went on, did whatever. And I think it was probably good looking out, Jay Dizzle. Thanks for the little brim comment. And so what wound up happening was, I think by day 3, I had told Camille, I was like, man, something's really wrong with me. And y'all know the first thing she said was, well, you want me to give you a COVID test? I was like, man, I don't need no COVID test. I don't have the vid, if you will. And then as I laid in bed, not being able to shake this fever that I had, I said, matter of fact, yeah, maybe you ought to give me the little COVID test. And what happened? She did the little nasal swabs and put it in this little solution. And I'm gonna tell y'all how crazy it was. When I saw the little pink, well, she saw the pink line before I did, right? And the first thing, I'm a Negro in denial, was like, I ain't got no COVID. I need to do a second test. First of all, why is it that when we get some bad news, we want to revalidate the bad news? Angela Gorham, what's going on, girl? She said, I'm glad you and the family are doing better. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, look, it was crazy. I didn't want to take the first set of results. So I said, you know what? I got to do a second one. When the second one came up hot, it seemed like it sucked the life out your boy. And for the next 7 days straight, all right, Detective Pamela Black, glad to see you. Let me tell y'all, for the next 7 days, your boy Cindy Sin tried to fight off the COVID bandit. It was trying to suck the life out of me, right? And I'm talking about, I had a fever for 7 days straight. If I wasn't popping them Tylenols, I know for a fact I would have had to go to the hospital. Angela said, we know you weren't going down without a fight. Hey, let me tell y'all something funny too. So, April Brown, glad to see you. She's talking about some, hey, everyone. Yeah, Jay Dizzle said, hey, that's how we clap, was we rock like that. And I'm gonna tell you what was funny. So, well, it wasn't funny then, but it's funny now because I could talk about it because I done got that negative test. I'm back in the strong arm game. But let me tell y'all, and I'm only going into this because I want you guys to learn something from me. So I'm sitting around and I had told my mom about it, right? And y'all know good and well, this is my mom right here. Look at her. So I told my mom about it. And when I told her about me having the vid, oh my goodness, I would have been better off not even saying that. She done went into the worry stages, right? Not rightfully so, because we've had people who are close to us who have passed away from COVID. And my mama ain't used to seeing me be down, right? So I'm sitting around and for those of y'all to see me coughing, let me tell y'all something. I'd have got my negative test, 2 negative tests a week apart. I think this is more of my sinuses, but don't worry about it. I'm in my own private studio, right? And I refuse to come back into the studio or anywhere. Hall talking about glad that you're so much better. Well, I appreciate it. Let me tell you something. When I say I really quarantined, I ain't talking about the quarantine that we was on when they told all y'all didn't have to go to work. I'm talking about I was in my room. I did not come out of my bedroom, but like once or twice a day, and I had a mask on. But anyway, so my mama was like, well, if you don't feel no better, baby, you might have to go to the hospital. Then what happened? Then next thing you know, Camille was talking about, oh, well, if this medicine don't work, you got to go to the hospital. Let me tell y'all, the first thing came to my mind. And my mama know I'm telling the truth, because I told her just like this. I ain't going to no hospital. Because folks that go to the hospital, if they ever put that ventilator on you, look, everybody I know that they gave some oxygen to, them jokers didn't fare well. So I was like, look, if I go out, I'm going out with the sunshine and right here at the crib. And so what wound up happening was, let me see what Star Coleman talking about. She said, oh, that cough could linger around even after a negative test. Mine definitely did, and the shortness of breath. All right, Star. We gonna rock with you for a minute. All right. Rod, Jake, what's up, my brother? Glad you made it. Look, I don't care nothing about you being late. I've been gone for a couple of weeks. But anyway, so as the COVID was strangling the life out of me, and I started self-diagnosing, and I'm reading everything up online, right? And I'm thinking to myself, man, in my whole lifetime, And I'm over 50. So I'm thinking in my whole lifetime, I ain't never had a fever that lasted 7 days. And and this is how you know, y'all know I rocks with God. I'm on team Jesus all the time, right? This is how you know COVID be strangling you. I started talking to God. I'm like, God, whatever your will is, if you're ready to go and take me, I ain't ready to go, but I'm ready to go. Because I was feeling like COVID was winning. And and so what wound up happening was I think it was might have been day 7, my fever broke. And matter of fact, all right, just for some of y'all that might catch COVID yourselves, let me tell you what not to do. So I went online to all the little medical places, the CDC, and don't believe nothing that they tell y'all out there. Because here's what they said. They said, look at my brother Andre said, put the ventilator on, you sure enough gone. Real talk. Hey, I ain't lying about that. James said, you know we prayed for you. Hey, I ain't no doubt in my mind that you prayer warriors was out there saluting up to the big man to try to keep me around for a few more shows. Because understand this, a lot of the stuff that you read online is an absolute, it's just not true. For example, they say you are only contagious 2 days before your symptoms start, up to 5 days. Let me tell you something. You are contagious as long as you getting them positive tests. I don't care what they say. And so I felt some kind of way. So, immediately when I took even the at-home test, I reached out to my team and was like, hey, yo, look, I came up hot on the test. I need for all y'all to get tested, right? And it was funny because I had one. I ain't even gonna call his name because I don't want to have to fire him, or I don't want to have to go to HR about no HIPAA. But this dude, I said, hey, did everybody take a test? So, some people was like, yeah, mine came up hot too. So this dude talking about, I'm feeling a little sick, but mine came out good. But I was too sick to battle with him. So I was like, all right, if yours good, then it's good. So I go through the COVID battle. Day 7. Oh, what I was going to tell y'all not to do. All right, so in the little guidelines, the CDC guidelines and the Johns Hopkins guideline, they tell you that after 5 days, if you're no longer displaying symptoms, then it's okay to return to work. They also say there's 3 conditions that have to be met. 1, that you don't have any active symptoms. 2, that you don't have a fever. And when they say you don't have a fever, they're talking about without taking medication. And I forgot what the last one was. It really didn't mean nothing about the last one. So let me tell y'all what your boy did. Dumbest mistake in the world. On day 5, I was controlling my fevers with Tylenol. And it was working. I was hovering under 100, right at 99 something. Because I think the highest fever I had was like 102.8. And so as I would take Tylenol every 4 hours, it was balancing out. So I'm thinking by day 5, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop taking this Tylenol to see, because remember, one of the conditions that the CDC had was if you don't have, Javella said you are contagious until your fever breaks without medication. That's what I said. J Vale, glad to see you on the show though. So anyway, so what wound up happening was I took myself off Tylenol on day 5. Dumb mistake. After about 3 hours, that fever was choking me down again. So, like a little kid, I called my mama. So mama was like, you don't sound well today. I said, Mama, I'm doing all right, but my fever's starting to come back. I said, I stopped taking the Tylenol. Y'all know what mama said? Not Dr. Fauci. Let me tell you what mama said. You know you shouldn't have stopped taking that Tylenol so soon. You better not do that no more. So anyway, I started back popping the Tylenol. And Taya Matthews, glad to see you. So after on day 7, something felt different in me on day 7. And so Andre said, now you experiment with yourself just to give us the results. Bear the lab rat. Yeah, it was Bear the lab rat for real. So what wound up happening was this. It's something in your body when you have gone through COVID and you've been in this fight, you can tell when you done overcame the worst of it. You're not feeling great, but it's something about the way you feel, you know. So on day 8, I didn't take any Tylenol and my fever was straight. So then on day 9, I had gone 2 days. And so what I decided I was going to do was I set me up an appointment to go to Walgreens. For those of you who don't know, if you got a Walgreens in your area, you could go online and set up to do the free test and they'll give you your results back. Most of the time in 2 to 3 hours, but it could take up to 24 hours if you do the rapid test. So on day 9, I go take the test. It said, bro, you still hot. So I'm like, man. So I called HR and HR was like, well, according to the CDC policy, you can come back to work, but I'd prefer you hit that negative test first. Cool. You ain't got to tell me to stay home because I ain't had no energy, no way. So then this was on day 9. Then on the day 11, I took another test. The test still coming up high. Now, mind you, all this going on, I ain't even told y'all that because Camille was giving me medication and making sure I was good to go, she caught COVID. So now you got 2 people in the house battling COVID. Although in truth, she did not get COVID at the same level that I did. Hers was certainly bad for her, but she didn't have the issue with the fevers the way I did. Now, I do not know if this has any relevance to this little story that I'm telling you all. But there is a difference between me and Camille, which was Camille, like some of y'all, got all them booster shots. Y'all remember after I got my first series and they started talking about all these different shots, I was like, man, I ain't getting no booster. So I do not know if the boosters played a role in it, but she did not have, her experience was not as bad as mine. I will say that. So anyway, fast forward. On day 14, I went to take, which was my 4th test with Walgreens, and it came back negative. Your boy had made it over the hump. And I don't, you know what, even though I still felt weak, I'm going to tell you what really happened. When I got that negative test, man, I felt like I was on top of the world, people. Because believe you me when I tell you, I've had some sicknesses in my day, but nothing like COVID that simply zapped your will to exist, that you felt like you was really fighting for your life. And I didn't have all of the symptoms that everybody else has had because I've read so much. You know, when you get COVID, you lying in bed, all you got is your laptop, you self-diagnosing and seeing what stage of life or death you at. But I'll say this, and then we're going to move on to some other stuff. But my personal experience with COVID has led me to understand that, one, you do not assume that just because you have your mask on that you can't catch COVID, because if you're in environments where a lot of people have been or are, and somebody has it, and you're in close proximity, it get in your clothes, you go get in your car, or you go sit in your office in a closed-in environment, and then you take your mask off, whatever those particles are, They in your airspace. So definitely make sure you keep that in mind. As a matter of fact, immediately after that, I told my admin, hey, order a bunch of cans of spray air. Before you walk in the building, you got to spray your clothes down, spray your mask off before you can even, and before you get in your car, I recommend that you do it. That's just my little extra effort award type thing that I'm trying to tell y'all about. But COVID definitely was everything that they said it was for me. And I wanted to take the time to explain all of this to you all tonight. Not that y'all care one way or another, and I'm certain that y'all didn't log on to hear about my adventures with COVID, but I wanted you all to understand the seriousness of it, and that don't get caught up in the hype about COVID is gone and now we can be out here freelancing, because the numbers are rising. But even if they don't tell you that the numbers are rising, it's people that's catching COVID every single day. And you might not die from it, but I can tell you, you will feel as though you don't know if you're going to make it. And for everybody that's sitting around talking about, well, if you really rock with God, you shouldn't have had no worries. Let me tell y'all something. Ain't nobody cooler with Jesus than me. Y'all might be equally as cool, but not cooler than me. But they ain't got nothing to do with my spirituality. Wasn't shaken because I caught COVID. What I understood was, if it's his will that it's my time to go, I want to have that conversation, because I couldn't tell if he was ready for me to take on another job assignment or not. And so I do not want you all to confuse how I felt during this process with anything shaking with my spirituality, because I'm good. The other thing is, if you feel sick, remotely sick at all, go get you a free test. That's real talk. Go get you a free test, because it is better for you to know and not put other people in, don't put other people potentially in jeopardy, and because you were too arrogant to get the information. Because I was fortunate enough to be able to leave my job and to not have to worry about some of the other things, because I've got enough cachet on my job where if I say I'm leaving, ain't nobody gonna ask me no questions. But I want you guys to know that sometimes we might be brushing off something that is COVID because the full-on symptoms haven't set in yet. All right. So that's just from the peanut gallery to you all. Like I said, keep praying for one another, because COVID is real, and stop thinking that you can knock it out. All right. Now let's get out here and see what y'all want to talk about today. First thing, question, Sinclair, what do you think about the Georgia mother that received no jail time for neglect when her child died weighing less than 8 pounds at 5 years old? This came from one of our listeners. They put the link up there. I guess it is something that's in the AJC. Let me tell y'all something about this particular thing here. When I first read the background information, now think about it. A young child at 5 years old that weighed less than 8 pounds. And the conflicting part of it is that there are some indications that the child may have had some type of medical condition. But even with the medical condition, the autopsy indicated that the child died from malnutrition that was preventable. And I could not think to myself, A 5-year-old child only weighing 8 pounds. If you couldn't get your child to eat, you should have took your child to the hospital. And the judge down there in Georgia indicated that he did not believe that jail sentence for this mother was the remedy that was necessary. Now, in many cases, Ty said that's just skin and bones. Yeah, you're right. In many cases, we often say that the judicial system is unfair, especially in cases where we're dealing with minorities. But I don't personally believe that this was the right sentence and sends the right message. And here's why. Now, I don't know what the length of time that would have been the appropriate amount, but I believe that it was necessary to send some message with some amount of time. Here's why. You're going to have other cases where some parent believes that their judgment is the best judgment in a similar situation. And rather than take their child to the hospital where they can receive, even if it's force-fed, food and nourishment so that they do not die from. Do you know how rough it has to be to die from being hungry? We talking about 2022. And we're talking about a human being dying from malnutrition, meaning there was not enough nutrients coming in your body. There was not enough protein. All right. April said, that's less than some newborn babies. The mom should have done something. If nothing else, Peter sure drinks. Hey, I don't disagree with that, April. And again, I'm not unempathetic to the plight of the mother. Ty said it takes about 28 days. But I don't, and I'm not even, I've been asked questions over the 6 years that I've been on air about people who did not, Cassandra said, what I have an issue with, you mean nobody said nothing to nobody about the child. You know what, Cassandra? The reality of it is, I do not know if they were even taking that child out in public because it did not exist. And it happened right down there in Georgia. So you may be able to find out more information than what I was. But my issue is, in the past, I've been asked about people not getting certain medical treatment for their child because of their religious belief. Here's my belief on this, and this is not a representation of my religious beliefs. This is my own personal beliefs, and I stand firm on it. If you want to make a decision about your life based on your spirituality, I could rock with that. But I think that I have an issue with the fact that you would make a decision that you don't want to get medical treatment, okay? Because I understand, even if they didn't take their child out, family or friends didn't see the child and think, you know what? Again, Cassandra, I agree with you. I just don't know if they were reclusive people or not. I just don't know. So I don't want to put this weight on somebody else because I don't know what the interaction. You got to believe that there was something going on upstairs if you're able to look at your child who is 5 years old dwindle down to 8 pounds. But again, from my personal perspective, even if this was because of religious beliefs or other things that people have said in the past, I don't believe that it is your right to force feed your personal religious perspective to the point where you would make a decision that your child or someone who was under your guardianship without the ability to make the decisions for themselves should have to deal with it. And there is no indication that the decisions that this lady made was about religious. So I believe she should have gotten some jail time. If nothing else, to ensure that moving forward, people don't think that they can substitute their own judgment. Ty said it would be real easy for nobody to notice. If my children have not been in school, they could have gone months with no one seeing them but me and the father. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Because depending on what your inner circle is, everybody doesn't have a broad inner circle. And so unless you have some routines with that child, and obviously, if this child was 5 years old and that small, this child wasn't active in any type of activities. And at 5 years old, we don't really know whether or not the child was in school yet or not. Because depending on the birthday, sometimes children are not even put in school until the following year. So there's a lot of unknowns, but I think we all agree that a child 5 years old dying from malnutrition in 2022 should have required, and if the parents did not take them to the hospital or seek medical or support outside of their own knowledge, that they should do some time. All right. So anyway, we're going to move on because I just wanted to give that its due diligence because it was a little crazy. Let me see. What's the next question? Sinclair, what kind of world do we live in when a girl from, I'm thinking should have said, named Danielle Regoli, a.k.a. Bad Barbie, disrespecting her mother on Dr. Phil to apparently making $52 million from OnlyFans based on receipts she posted on her Instagram? She showed $52,892,000 and some change in gross earnings since last April. I ain't even going into all of that because that's a lot of stuff. Well, let me say this. First of all, let me see. She was the only person in the home with the child. If not, why? I don't know. Annie Moore, what's going on? Glad to see you. Well, first of all, let me see who else is that. Yvonne Rouse, what's going on, lady? Glad to see you as well. All right, so let's talk about this. First of all, the question is about some girl. What? Look at my armor bearer, Essie Shepherd. What's going on? Yes, I am glad to be back amongst the living. I'm still fighting, but I'm on the winning side. Cash Me Outside girl, social media made her famous. I don't even know what Cash Me Outside girl is, but let me say this. The question was, what type of world do we live in? Well, I guess some girl got her initial piece of stardom by going on Dr. Phil and disrespecting her mama, to which she then somehow parlays that into being on social media. And in 1 year, she's able to make $52 million. First of all, if that's true, mama, if that girl made $52 million in 12 months because she talked a little crazy to her mama on Dr. Phil, mama, we getting ready to go on Dr. Phil. I'm just saying, mama, 52 million. That's a lot of money to make, mama. Mama, would you be okay, mama, if me and you had a little spat on Dr. Phil, if I could parlay that into 52 million? Man, come on, mama. And look, mama, you know I love you. And you know I ain't gonna mean what I'm gonna say, but I might have to say some things and pray about it later. I'm just saying. Chris Parks, what's going on? Corey Parks, what's going on, man? Mama, I just want your permission for me and you to sit down and consider. Let me see. April said that's what she said on Dr. Phil, and she started trending. She became a rapper and started an OnlyFans page to bank on her internet fame. Well, hold on now. So y'all saying, Yvonne said it's hard to believe. No, Yvonne, let me tell you something. I did my due diligence, and I'm telling you, they have indicated that the numbers is right. Trust me, before I even brought this up here, I went and did as much background check because it didn't sound right to me neither. All right. Chris says she did more than rap. But look, so mama, are you okay with me and you having a tiny dispute on Dr. Phil, and then I might have to say a few raps. I do some Christian raps. If I can make a few million shillings, mama, is you okay with that? Where my mama at? Somebody text my mama and ask her to get online if she done faded off. I know she be listening. Mama, I just need to know if you okay with going with me on Dr. Phil, and we're going to have a slight disagreement. Mama, you okay with it? See, y'all, look at that. Mama said, yep, we could go out there on it. Me and my mama finna make us 52 million. Yeah. See, that's how you know you got to ride or die, mama. My mama like, look, I ain't gonna let my son talk any kind of way, but for 52 million shillings, because see, mama know if I get 52, she getting half. Yeah. Mama, we can work out what we gonna say after the show tonight, and we gonna call Dr. Phil, and we gonna talk just as crazy. No, mama, we ain't gonna do that, because I ain't likely to make 52 million, and you ain't either. So I would just done went on Dr. Phil and made a fool out of myself for nothing. We gonna scratch that, mama. No, I ain't gonna try to even get that bread like that. But to answer y'all question, what do I think about it? First of all, I think we operate in a society that we love ignorance and foolishness. Man, I had some. Y'all, it'll give me a little water. As a society, we like ignorance. We do any and everything ignorant. We post any and everything up on social media. She was doing it to make 52 million. Some of y'all act just as ignorant for likes and clicks. To me, it ain't no different than y'all posting up half-naked pictures or ignorant comments or lies and all this other stuff that y'all get out here and post up for clicks and likes. That's the type of society we live in, where ignorance is rewarded. And for all of y'all who done went to this girl, Bad Barbie, or whatever her name is, and y'all done signed up and y'all out here paying your hard-earned money, where Yvonne said we live in a society where evil is good. You know what, Yvonne, I'm not even going to put this on evil, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. I put it more on ignorance than evil. Your moral compass wouldn't allow you to ever do what she did. All money isn't good money. 52 million is good money. I'm just telling you it is. But here's why I'm not going to say it's evil versus good in this. Because if you didn't grow up with any values, if you live in a space where your mama do just as ignorant stuff as you do, then you're not going to think that it's nothing wrong with doing it. If your mama out here, James said people want to see drama for entertainment. Absolutely. And again, it's not that Yvonne is wrong, but Yvonne, I don't want us to confuse ignorance with evil. They can be the same, but they don't have to be. Because this girl got a mama that was willing to assist her in the foolishness. And so if she ain't never been taught no different, you know how many young girls and people that you see out here on social media, whether it's the gram or the book, and they posting up a bunch of negative, ignorant stuff. And what happens? You see half of them out there right up there with their mamas. So whoever Bad Barbie is, and her and her mama went on TV and did whatever they did or said whatever they said, you can't attach everything to evil, because if I'm ignorant to something, and if the environment that I grow up in, if my mama is ignorant, I'm likely to be ignorant, because I'm only going to be nurtured and given what she give me. Okay? That's just facts. Now, we as a society, because we like this ignorant stuff, then we egging on. We getting likes, we getting clicks, we getting loves on ignorant stuff. That's real talk. And if we wasn't like that, and let me prove it to y'all, okay? If we wasn't like that, here's what would happen. You would see far fewer women online posting up pictures of themselves half naked or otherwise, because we wouldn't be so shallow that we got to go out here and show the world our body or say, look at me, because it wouldn't be necessary. April said, just like Black China, she got it from her mama. I'm saying to you all that there's a lot of ignorance, is certainly in certain generations, because if you got the type of mama who is out there in these streets just like you are, she out here with little outfits on, or she out here chasing Negroes, or she out here wilding out and getting high. If your mama is on Instagram with you, in the internet with you, twerking and with half naked pictures of her up there, why would we expect you to be any different? And then if the ignorant parts of us is out here liking and clicking and paying for it, whoever this girl Bad Barbie is, make no mistake about it. I don't even know what she looked like, but I know she don't look like 52 million or 1 million. But some of y'all sitting at the house clicking and liking and paying. And make no mistake about it, you are more likely to see somebody posting up half-naked pictures on the book and Instagram and all these other things than you are to see them posting up something with some knowledge attached to it. Something that's gonna help somebody be something different. And so let's call a spade a spade. This girl was able to make 52 million because of the type of society that we live in. We reward ignorance. That's just the truth. And I bet you whoever this girl is, I bet you she ain't got no man. Because some of y'all listen, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to go on to whatever the next thing is on the list, because we ain't got so much time. If you can't figure out why you can't keep a good man, but you always out here on the gram and in the book, and you always sending pictures and posting pictures, regardless of what they say or are, that's the reason why. Because don't no Negro want somebody that want to be out there in them streets and is out there craving so much attention that you got to always be posting and twerking and doing whatever you do out there for the rest of the world to get. That ain't no real dude. Negroes ain't down with that. You ain't gonna never be that fine that your man wants you showing everybody else in them streets what's supposed to be for him. I'm just saying. When you for them streets, stay in them streets. But if you out there in them streets, stop getting online and talking about Negroes ain't about nothing because you can't keep a good one. Y'all will say it ain't no good ones out there. It ain't that it ain't no good ones. Why would a good one want to be with somebody that's for them streets? Whoever Bad Barbie is, I promise you, ain't no dude trying to claim her except for to get part of that 52 million. All right? I'm just keeping it real. like mamas at their child's school doing a twerk contest and the children cheering them on. You're absolutely right. I mean, come on. If your mama about that life, you about that life. Most, not all, most women are direct reflections of their mama because you grow up idolizing your mama, whatever your mama is, however she is. That's just facts. If your mama don't think nothing wrong with it, ain't no way you could think something wrong with it because your mama your hero. So if your mama got tats and out here twerking, ain't no way the girl gonna think that there's something wrong with it. If you out here doing scandalous stuff, ain't no way your little girl gonna think there's something wrong with it because ain't nobody greater in the eyes of a little girl than mama. So whoever Bad Barbie is and her mama is, when they went on Dr. Phil and they decided that they was gonna make social media their thing, hey, that's the debt we pay. Just keeping it 100, people. You ain't got to like it. But if you think something different, get up here and tell me what you think. All right, so the next thing says, Sinclair, should Mike Tyson go to jail for giving an extremely intoxicated flight passenger the holy hands for harassing him? Absolutely not. Let me tell y'all something. I done watched that video about 20 times. And for those of you who only saw the part where Mike Tyson was issuing out a couple of them 12-piece nugget meals that he gave that dude, here's what you missed. The early part of the video, this dude was straight harassing Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was sitting in the seat in front of him. And the dude was pointing all at the top of his head. He was blowing on him. He was, Jane said he put them Fifth Ward bees on him. Yes, he did. Cassandra said, exactly not. I don't care who you are. Don't play with Mike Tyson sober. Absolutely. And here's what happened. You can see the dude blowing on him, talking crazy to him, just hovering over his head. Now, I'm not Mike Tyson, but I'm telling you, if I tell you, hey, man, chill, back up off me, and you keep going, and I tell you again, and it's alleged that the dude either dropped a water bottle on him or threw a water bottle on him too. And so let me say this to y'all, because some of y'all are star ignorant, meaning every time you see somebody that is famous, meaning you know them to be on TV, the movies, or athlete or whatever, you feel like it's your place to run up and either ask them for autographs, or you got to be bothering them when they eating, or you got to be bothering them when they trying to go to sleep, or you bothering them when they trying to fly, or you see them at the stoplight, you get out your car, run to their window. Let me tell y'all something. People don't want to be bothered with you in your ignorance. You pay to see the movie. You pay to see the basketball game. You pay to see the fight. You don't pay to be able to go up and get in their face and get in their business. And why do y'all think you can do more to somebody because they are entertainment or athlete? Okay. Mike Tyson did us a public service. He showed this intoxicated Caucasian, and I'm not talking about my Caucasian homies, because y'all know that's that 52% popping off. They're my brothers. But let me tell you something. Mike Tyson did us a service because he didn't do like Will Smith. That's a totally different situation. Mike Tyson said, look, when I pay to get on this flight just like you do, I don't want to be bothered. Stay up out my business. Don't be blowing on me. Don't be putting your hands on me. Don't be dropping or throwing the water bottles on me. And if you do, you gonna get dealt with. I don't care how many cameras is around. So no, Mr. Mike Tyson should not go to jail. If anything, he should be able to teach airline safety for passengers. Sitting around here want to send my boy to the clink. And matter of fact, I don't believe that the young man that caught that 12-piece nugget special, I don't believe he pressed charges, and I don't believe Legal Beagle looked that up, but I don't think any charges have been filed against Mike as of right now. But he did the right thing. No doubt about it in my mind. He was supposed to put them paws, bear paws, monkey paws, whatever you want to call it. Mike gave him exactly what you entitled to. And y'all need to understand that when you getting out here in these streets and you running your mouth to people, when you, wherever you say you going, when you leave your house, that's where you supposed to go. I be watching people on World Star with all these crazy fights. People out here in the neighborhood parking lot, people in the grocery stores. Keep your hands and your mouth to yourself, and you will make it home the same way you left. But for those of you who walking around talking about, man, we can get on Instagram, we can blow up on the social media if we do something ignorant. Be mindful that doing something ignorant got a price to pay that you might not be willing to pay. Anymore say he got what he deserved. Absolutely he did. Matter of fact, I wish it had lasted longer. Mike should have gave him a little sampling of that Mitch Green. And then this how you know it was planned, because his boy who was videotaping the first part of the dude harassing him, once Mike put them spades on him, he's talking about, I didn't know why he did it. He was only trying to get an autograph. Why lie? Now you're going to lie for the second part of the video so you can edit it. Mike had already took a picture with the dude when they first got on the plane. And matter of fact, let me just, James said, try Jesus, don't try me because I throw hands. Let me say this too. And I don't know why all y'all out here in these streets keep trying Mike. It couldn't have been no more than like 2 or 3 weeks before that at the comedy club. Some dude pulls a pistol on Mike, acting like he wants some smoke with him. Mike didn't even flinch on that one. Mike got up after the fact, gave the dude a hug and told him, hey man, just go on about your business. So Mike is not out here in these streets trying to just provoke people, but y'all need to leave that man alone. Because I do believe playing with Mike is worse than COVID. COVID, you're going to catch a fever. With Mike, you probably going to sleep. And if y'all saw the side of that dude's head, man, just with a few of them blows, man, Mike put the red imprints on him. That dude's face looked like he had some red bottoms on. And he was looking crazy too. And I couldn't do nothing but laugh. Let me see if we got time to get into anything else. Oh, yeah, we got one more thing and we got time to get in. Sinclair, should we be concerned that Fidelity will soon offer Bitcoin as an option in 401k and 401k plan participants can elect to direct a portion of their regular saving contribution into what will be known as their digital asset account, or DAA, where their Bitcoin will be held. They also can elect to transfer money to their DAA from another investment they have within the plan. Now, let me answer this. Okay, let me say this. That's a tough one because there are good things about Bitcoins and there are some less than favorable things about Bitcoins. It's and Chris just said right there, he said it's a personal choice. Absolutely. But what I will say to you all who may consider it, make sure you understand the risk. Make sure you understand the portfolio itself, because there may be some changes with Bitcoins that occur that if you don't understand it up front and the changes occur and they're not as financially favorable for you, you may feel some kind of way. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying any investment that you do without understanding thoroughly what it means to your financial portfolio is a problem, whether it's Bitcoins or what you choose to invest in. Some people have had a lot of success with Bitcoins. I do personally believe that in the future that let me see. He said, if you can't buy at least one coin, don't invest in it. Hey, I agree. Cassandra said, I agree. Know what you're getting yourself into. Just like investing, there's always a risk. Cryptocurrency is not FDIC insured. You know what, Cassandra? And that was the point that I was getting ready to finish on, is for those that of you who do not understand, when you see the sign that says FDIC insured, essentially that's telling you that the federal government is financially covering this particular funding or this particular bank or this particular investment, if you will. If something is not FDIC insured, then there is no recourse to your loss. A loss is a loss. All right. Never, it's just like gambling. Never risk more than you can afford to lose. Okay. I would be hesitant for a first-time person doing their 401. I would be hesitant for you to elect the Bitcoin first, because investments aren't insured, are they? Chris, the answer to that is most of the time when you are dealing with Fidelity. Robin Williams, glad to see you. Matter of fact, let me post that up there. All right, Robin Williams, glad to see you. When you're talking about insured, there are some investments that are insured, or they are insured up to a certain amount. Okay. Again, I do not want anybody to assume. Cassandra says some are insured. She's absolutely right. I do not want anybody to think that I am negatively speaking about Bitcoins, because again, if you've got the money that you can take the risk, it's like any other investment. But you wouldn't just go out here and play the stock markets without doing some research. Okay. Rod said, I read an article today that Congress is trying to write a bill to redo 401k because there are not enough people that actually invest in the 401k that their companies offer. Jake, you are absolutely right. Congress is also trying to do an extension on the way that the investments are. So people will, part of what I read was instead of getting it out at 72, you had to be at 75. There's some other little things. Here's the reason why what Rod is talking about is important. Because in the next 10 years, a significant portion of the baby boomers and that next generation will be all in collection opportunities, meaning they will be old enough or have worked long enough to collect their 401k and their retirements. And when you have a greater percentage of people collecting than what is putting in, it impacts it a certain way. So what they are trying to do is, absolutely. So what they are trying to do is they are trying to, matter of fact, I even read where part of what Congress was doing is saying even a part-time person who works 500 hours a year would be allowed to invest, because right now, part-time people and most companies can't put anything in the 401. So there's a lot of stuff going on about 401s and changes, because what they're looking at is saying, if everybody start collecting when they're able to collect, it's going to put a strain on many of these companies, especially if fewer people are putting in. And the other part of that is this. Make no mistake about it. Young people are not working on jobs the same length of time that their parents did. And some of you don't know what you would qualify for in Social Security. Some of you don't know what you would qualify for in your 401k. So let me give you a piece of advice before I go. As it relates, if you want to know what you can expect to receive from Social Security, log on to the Social Security website. If you've never done it, create you a login. And when you log in, you will see, it will show you what you are expected to have in your 401, not 401, in your Social Security payouts at different points. You need to know these things because it will tell you how much you can expect to have to live off of and at what age. A lot of you don't know that there's a section in your Social Security thing that says if you were to become 100% disabled, that you can, and if you can prove that you qualify, you don't have to wait to draw your Social Security. And it even has an amount that you would qualify for to draw immediately. With your 401ks, if you are paying into 401, a lot of people are like me, and I'm not saying it was right. For years, I never even looked in my 401. And I work for the state. Never even looked into it because I was like, you know what? I'm just paying it. Probably ain't got that much, whatever. Here's the thing. You need to know how much you have in your 401 because it'll also tell you what you can expect to get as your payout from that. You need to know if you're working for the state or the federal government, if you're going to, you need to know if you're vested. If you don't know what vested means in many states like North Carolina, if you work for the state, if you work for 5 years or more, then you are automatically vested, which means you, after 5 years, if you quit at 62, you still get 60 or 62, you still get to draw a retirement check. Now, it's not going to be as big as somebody who paid in longer if you only work 5 years. For example, somebody, depending on what your salary was, your highest salary at the time when you worked for them, you may wind up getting a check from the state for, let's say, $1,200 a month. And that's not going to make or break your life, but it could mean the difference between how you live. If you're getting that check and you getting some Social Security, it might mean that you have a different way that you can plan. All right. Annie Moore said, I kept a check on my 401 and had a rep from Fidelity. Absolutely. Andre said, North Carolina, that vested might have went up to 10 years now. No, it didn't, Andre. I checked mine. I messed around and checked mine after 5. It's unless they changed it in 2022. As of 2021, if you had worked 5 years, you were vested with the state. Okay. Go out to Orbit and check it out. I think most people use Orbit, but you can go out and check it out. It as of December of last year, it was still 5 years. And so you definitely want to know these things because look at how many people quit their jobs that might have been a year out. I'm fed up with such and such. I got so mad I quit my job. And then you turn around and realize if you'd have stayed another year and a half, you would have been vested. And then if you walked away, you would have still got your money down the road. So just make sure you pay attention, look up what you qualify for, pay attention to what you're investing in, what you're doing with your 401ks. And people, most of all, if you got some information, when I went out, it was 9 years. All right. Well, I know it's 5. It was 5 last year. Let me see. 4-1 is a good investment. Absolutely. Let me say this on my way out, people. If you got good information that you think people might not know, send it to me on the show. Whether it's about investments, whether it's about anything that could benefit us, because the problem, I don't want to say in the Black community, certainly in the minority community, in the middle to lower class community, sometimes the reason why people stay in poverty because they don't know the information that could help them not be in poverty. So let's start sharing valuable information. If we pass on good information the same way we do pictures of folks twerking, everybody will have the data, all right? I just want to thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for the prayers. Listen, COVID ain't nothing to play with. It's time to rock and get out.
It's about that
Gotta
time.
go, baby.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.